Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 192. This episode is Mistaken Hold. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. We are here to talk Warhammer. I am joined by Anthony Vanella and also the one, the only, the eponymous Floof Cox, who's here to talk about the upcoming Tacoma event and also the general state of some stuff going on. I'm told that there was promise of GSC last week, but I don't watch the show when I'm not on it. So because I was for a reason at that point. I hope everybody's doing well. It is the 14th of July. We got the Tacoma FAQ. We are expecting a balanced data slate in the next couple of weeks. All this good stuff is coming to the game. I'm gonna dodge the meta game as much as I can and hope that I can just not play against anything that scares me at Edinburgh this weekend.
That'll probably be fine.
Yeah. How are you doing, Anthony?
My game plan too.
I am stun locked. I can't do stuff because we're in the fun period of WTC where there may be a balance slate that lands
5 days before submission.
Right before submission, because we've made a really poor choice, is how I'm going to phrase it. We have opted into an objective mistake that is a foolish, childish decision that will, have a bunch of downstream effects that people did not consider before they made the choice. So now we're here and we're doing stuff. We're doing our best. I have been playing a bunch of various Chaos armies to try and just hedge some bets to just be like, what if, so that's been something. A lot of time moving around TTS because naturally you can't just switch army these days, folks. If you switch armies, that might mean dispos, and dispos means 15 new maps to learn. So my original beloved plan of just being a purge only gamer did not pan out. As now I have caught the stray of having to learn all the other ones as well.
Yeah, dude, you got to read Disruption and be mad about it. It happens to all of us.
I'm not doing that. So,
okay.
Let's not get
on the totem pole.
Let's not get carried away.
10-game losing streak.
Yeah, nah, dude, I'm good. It's my 5th year on the team, not my 1st. Someone else can play Disruption. Aside from that, things are great. Work's going really well.
France just lost in the World Cup, which was very nice. I enjoy watching France lose.
Oh, France lost, dude. Who'd they lose to?
Spain.
Nice.
2-0.
All right, go Spain. That's who we're rooting for now, right? Because that's the best chance to beat the English. That's how that works.
We truly can't root for England. Hopefully, Argentina will beat England because we
perfect. All that much better then, right?
Yeah, that game's tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Well, as much as I'd love to tell everyone to send their energy to push the slate and have it not be the 22nd and have it be the 29th, because those are the only two real viable dates, I'll instead direct everybody to aim their energy towards Argentina. So the only thing potentially more disastrous for my mental health than having to figure out our entire everything in 5 days is having to deal with NOS after England wins the World Cup.
I would truly France losing was step one of NOS being unhappy, and I think that was important. And now if England can lose as well, it'll be even better.
All one team, one dream. Keep England away from winning.
Anyone but England.
Notably, this does not apply to 40K, where they've done a really good job of reforming their team to be mostly likable.
I still can't give them the
Yeah, you're not allowed to root for them. I get it. You have an ancestral bone deep hatred or whatever, but I don't.
Should you?
Well, whatever. I'm American by this much.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
How you been?
That's me. Floof, how's it going?
I've been spiraling for the past how long has 11th been out? And
4 weeks, dude.
It feels like a year.
22nd of June it came out. 20th of June.
God, dude, hell of a birthday. I will say 11th has been very fun. And the times where I do get games in, they've all been the game itself is very fun when I'm not playing Disruption. But boy, I have never been in an era to where oh, I'll go test out this tweak to a list and then just immediately get like decimated, just like fucking 1010 becomes like 020 and I'm like, back to the
Ow.
board. I understand.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, like I've just been the reinvigoration of like the game of, new edition. Everyone's excited. There's an escalation league that I'm helping be a part of at my local store. We're also getting into Kill Team. It's just been like a lot of people are like, fuck yeah, 40K. And like, that's just been great to see. So,
I mean, that is always good.
Yeah. I get to share my love of the hobby with a bunch of new people and I'm having a great time with it. I love it.
That's important. It's nice that people are
Yeah.
having an easy time getting into the game.
And the best part is when I crash out, I just blow up Ashley Thompson's DMs with all of my rants. And we shovel that all onto her. And so that makes the day even better.
I mean, she's got it too, it's just you're both.
I can't believe you're making women do the emotional workload for your crash outs. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I gotta do my best.
And you've got Tacoma coming up this weekend, right? Have you decided what you're submitting yet?
Yes. So every 6 hours, I have changed list, disposition, army, faction, whatever the hell, and it has been driving everyone else around me insane because I'll just be talking to them constantly, like, well, what if I do this? What if it's this setup or anything like that? And so I have just said, okay, GW doesn't have a list lock date for Tacoma. Unfortunately, it's up until round 1 starts, and so I gave myself, yeah, I know. I just gave myself a list lock. I put in a list yesterday, and I'm just like, I'm not changing. I'm locked on this.
But what if you change that one unit to that other unit?
Don't see?
What if that unit, instead of being that unit, was a different one? That would be better.
A green tide matchup that is serviceable.
Yes.
Nailed it. You're gonna be great. Based on the stats, that's the only thing you need to care about.
Luke's going to go second against Montcon Cry, and it's going to be funny.
Well,
Glenn's on Green Tide, so...
I promise you it doesn't matter how good the mock-up player is.
I disagree, for what it's worth.
That might be true.
Tau is many things, but easy to do in such a way that your opponent actually gets shut out of the game is not one of them.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Also, this weekend, I'm not going to be on Disruption. I'm going to be on Prio. And I think that's just going to make my life feel a lot better.
Just anything but... Look, what's the... Never blue, no matter who? That's the... feels like...
Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it. So
not in singles, brother.
That's true.
Yep. I did these for my team shackle.
Yeah, like the... Edinburgh lists went out this weekend, right? And the disposition stats were goddamn hilarious. There are, from 232 players, I think it is, there are 64 Purge, 51 Take and Hold, 37 Priority Assets, 20 Reconnaissance, and 10 Disruption. Like,
still just way too many people playing Purge. Just like so many people that just like listened to a content creator 3 weeks ago, have done zero critical thinking themselves, and just blasted it forward.
There's just so many people that want to play the Purge mirror every game. Could not be me.
It sucks. It's so boring.
Yeah. That's why I'm playing Prio. It's good. It's solid into Take and Hold and Purge the Foe, and that's all I was looking for.
Yeah, Disruption's pretty good to Purge the Foe.
I not sure I 100% always agree with that one. Some builds of Disruption can be.
When you're losing to Disruption as Purge the Foe, it feels real bad.
It is miserable. When you are winning,
you can't get a kill. They kill some random shit and get a bunch of points. You're like, please.
Yeah, but when you're like, oh, the Purge player went first, staged up, and I have like a slightly MSU army, you're just like, oh god, please stop, please not the face.
Yeah.
I deny them their primary. They get a 5 on kill. This is awful.
True.
They kill a unit that you're playing like GSC Disruption. They get an Overwatch kill. That's 10 primary. You're just like, please stop.
Yeah, that's tough, dude.
Turn based, baby.
That is turn based, isn't it?
Yep.
I do think
there's very few times you can score on your opponents.
Sorry
for
buffing.
Scored more the last time that I played that then.
Sorry for buffing Purge for you, Anthony. I know I needed it. Yeah, very notably, like from the stats, take Purge the Foe had 64 players. Disruption, Reconnaissance, and Prowl combined also have 67 players.
That's
Hell
just
yeah.
like just a
Hell
fundamental not understanding of like what is what, man.
I think also disruption might just be bad, but
Disruption is part of that, but like the other two are totally fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. I think
I
reconnaissance
think
is
armies
just
that
a
are
tough one to want to play when you have other options.
I think like the thing with the dispositions is that like when you're on an army that can do them well,
That's
they
fine.
are kind of balanced, right?
Yeah.
It's just when you're in those scenarios to where you're on like an army that can't do recon well, but you're for some reason there, that's where like, okay, now this feels unbalanced, right? But
I
like
think
when
they
it is
needed like
go
oh
for it.
sorry to cut you off. There was a bit of lag there. I think they needed to just have someone go through and for the factions that are like not well aligned, right? Like as an example, CSM has Renegade Raiders. And Renegade Raiders is a little counterproductive with Recon because Recon's like be everywhere. And you know, Recon likes to do that, but it only has so many units, can only do it for so long. So maybe what they could have done is for armies that are more elite but are stuck playing Recon, which is inherently a bit more of a rat primary, they could have made that one of their 2 DPs, not one of their 3 DPs, so that they could go get
Yeah.
something else if they needed to. But they did not do that. And I think a finer hand in that space probably would have saved them a
I
little
think
bit of
broadly,
headache.
more of the primary should encourage you to play like hold mores rather than just holds. I think that would fundamentally solve a lot of the interaction points as well. Of just like, hey, if
That
there
could
was a way
help.
that you could be like, I'm standing on more objectives than you, I get more points.
Yeah,
Right?
I
I
mean,
think it would help.
does GSC have a Purge 3 DP?
Maybe
Because
GSC
that
only has no. GSC only has host, which is
Okay.
Yeah.
because
Just take and
that's
hold
one of
it.
those things that would be like that's an obvious mistake, right? GSC is never going to score kill more a day in its
to be
life.
fair, Anthony, they made host take and hold. I want you to just like
You be taking and also holding. Like that's a thing you be doing.
That's true.
What do you mean? Why did you say that like it's a thing they're bad at? Fuck you.
You can hold what you to survive, and surviving is not GSC's fundamental plan.
Well,
But not getting hit while you like are 200 million OC is, right?
Maybe.
yeah.
I mean, if you have
It's just,
one of
if you
your
look at
4
it,
bricks in each quarter, you get your reconnaissance points, right?
yeah.
That seems
I
harder.
will say I think if host had like a recon or a prio or disruption, it would have been a lot stronger for sure. But maybe it's like a balancing thing to where they're like, okay, we're done seeing
Yeah, but
fucking
Renegade
swarm host
Raiders
on the
is
board.
too
Give it
good,
some
so it needs to
bullshit.
be recon.
They could have done it that way, right? Like I mean that wouldn't be entirely unreasonable.
Naughty dispositions get sent. Naughty detachments get sent to disruption jail.
I mean, they made pack-bound prio, which is like completely
Insane.
trolling.
You should make pack-bound disruption so that it doesn't score
That's
any
even
kills.
worse.
Exactly.
Leave pack-bound alone. They've been punished enough. They're fine.
Make Soulforge Warpack disruption and 3 DP so that it can't play Purge the foe. That's what it
Soulforge
needs.
does sting. Getting shot by Soulforge sucks.
Yeah, I mean Soulforge got what the solid 6. It got like a couple GT wins, a couple 6-1s. Like it's been
Yeah.
doing ridiculous things. So yeah, we shall see. Yeah. As for myself, we had the Team Scotland practice weekend.
How was
which
that,
was,
dude?
It was really good. It was nice to hang out with them. We went bowling on the Friday night or on the Saturday night because we were in
nice.
Edinburgh. We ordered pizza. We watched the quarterfinals with
Wait.
we watched the England game where sadly they won. It was heartbreaking.
So you were in Edinburgh this weekend. So
Yeah.
was the big Critical Role thing, dude. There was
Oh, there
probably
was a Critical Role
cosplayers
thing?
fucking everywhere. Critical Role did a like a big event in Edinburgh. They did like a whole there was like a thing next to the castle. They did like a whole thing. It was like the
Did
pictures
not
are crazy.
see just any of that.
That's wild that you didn't see that because
We were
apparently,
nowhere near the city center.
Oh, that's why. It was like up near the castle stuff.
Yeah, we
right?
were like out in. We weren't like not near the city center, but we were out in Morningside, which is like you'd have to get like a bus to get
Sure.
into the city center, and yeah, I just didn't see it. We're actually in Edinburgh again next weekend for the UKTC Edinburgh, which I submitted Dark Angels for. So I'm gonna go punch people with Deathwing Knights because I fucking love Deathwing Knights.
You do love just basically any excuse to have Deathwing Knights.
Dude, I would play like Jeremy sent me the list and he was like, "Hey, I'm playing Deathwing Knights. Can you help me work on this?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna do that." And then I ended up being like, "Oh, this seems really good. Cool. Let's take that Land Raider Redeemer out. Fuck that Land Raider Redeemer." And
What?
I hate deploying that thing when I don't have a good counter shooting. Like if you have like
That's fair.
gun behind it, where you're like, "You shot my Land Raider Redeemer, now you get
Now I
shot
shoot you
back."
Yeah.
It works. When you're like, my Deathwing Knights will get to you eventually. It's
Yeah.
a little different. So yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to Movement 7 Death Nights is everything I ever wanted, frankly.
Fair.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's me. Hopefully I'll win my 4th UKTC event in a row. That's the goal. It's an event in Scotland. I'm, personally consider myself the main character of events in Scotland. So we shall see.
Eventually, you'll drop a super there, and that won't be true anymore.
Eventually, but I'm not planning on it.
True.
So
At this time, dude, this is the time. Bruce has
it
got
could
it.
be.
This
Someone
time.
else might get that golden ticket. I can't have it. I actually don't care. So, second place will be good for that too, even if I win. But yeah, the goal is get number 4, continue to have won every big event ever in Scotland. I think I've won every event in Scotland over 60 players.
Let's go.
Jesus.
So yeah, I know.
No one can
Let's go.
ever say that about the States, so it's too
Yeah, I was about to
big.
say.
Yeah, there's only been 4 of them, but
Right.
I won our first major and our first 3 super majors. So
Number 4 it is.
Oh yeah.
Nindo got first in ITC midseason golden ticket. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I do love that.
That's great. So we'll see you in Barcelona, Borja.
I still gotta
Hopefully.
get my passport.
You
for
probably should do
Barcelona.
that, yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. What? I'm stressed.
No. Don't be me.
Not December. You got time. I should book my WTC flights. That's a thing I should do. But
Yeah, but that's like 3 pennies and a high five in Europe.
it's a little bit jokes from Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
You could
All
do
right.
it via train if you were feeling froggy.
I could, but I'm
How
not.
to
I'm not feeling
get
that froggy.
passport.
It is just more expensive. I don't.
It's more expensive and it takes longer. So why would I
Yeah,
bother?
it's a very confusing setup.
It's because you get more bags, I guess. Ryanair doesn't,
Sure.
uh,
Ryanair, dude. You guys get to keep your cheap airline?
I
Ours
know, right?
died.
It's crazy.
What the heck?
I will
Let's take a look.
say-
I'm gonna look live at how much my flights are gonna cost me and make some people sad.
What were you
I
gonna
will say the with like events going around and having so many people fly, it's so funny to be in discords with people who aren't in the US and them hearing about our like airline
Oh.
issues, and they're like, "Are you guys okay over there?" And we're like, "Hell yeah,
No.
buddy.
Let's
No, go.
we are not. Ow.
I hear the eagle screech as my plane is delayed for the 4th time."
Yeah. Without
Talking to Folger
compensation.
about how much about like flight compensation when he got delayed on his flights back was kind of crazy. We were chatting about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I got my flight got cancelled twice, and I get nothing for it." I'm like, "If you flight get cancelled in the UK, you get like £500 per flight."
They did upgrade him to business class for his 3-hour
Well, that's
flight
nice,
home
at least.
on the last after the third cancellation.
That's crazy. That's too many cancellations to have to deal with. Yeah, okay, I looked it up. If I want to fly to Charleroi, it's £75, and if I want to fly to Brussels, it's like £250.
Of course, you fly to Brussels.
I'm going to, but Charleroi, it's like more and more appealing by the amount of a third the price.
I guess.
Didn't someone almost get sucked out of a Ryanair air flight window mid-flight? I don't
I
think
hope
that
not.
sounds right, but that sounds like someone who had a Mile High story gone really wrong.
Yeah.
You just had somewhere to be.
My stop is here. He pulled the thing like a bus.
Yeah, that's actually right. That's Ryanair's new in-flight entertainment policy.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Shall we do some stats? So we
Tell
have some
me.
fairly limited stats this week. Our stats to this data pipeline broke. So I have what we've got, which is to say we're missing disposition data because not everybody's putting it on BCP yet. Events, please just require your player to put the disposition on BCP because otherwise we have like the baseline default GW app output lists all of your dispositions. And if you didn't select the one that you're doing on the app, we have no way of knowing which one you actually played. So we can't use it in the data. And also some events we're doing like this NDA thing, which is whatever.
Very stupid.
A window
Do
blew
we
out.
want to talk about that today? Or
I have
we just-
strong opinions about it, and I think
Shoot.
in a different direction. So hear me out. I think that telling WTC players that they can't do this has entirely the opposite intended effect that people think it will actually land on. So, my opinion is as long as your event is still giving your list to the other people and there's no actual advantage, right? You have the same list submission time, you have the same list submission everything, right? And your list still makes it into your opponent's hands such that they have a reasonable amount of time to prep, the same as they would for anybody else. It is not you being the internet, it's fucking business what someone played. You don't actually get to have full unabated access to everything all the time. And I know that's heartbreaking for those of us that came up in the BCP era, that we can't endlessly know everything all the time forever. But we will persevere, because the inverse of this, and what I've seen happen already, I've had people message me that this has happened to them, is that they were planning to go to an event, but between the WTC statement and the other general uptick around Reddit and shit, it was relayed to them that they would no longer be able to hide their list, and so they can't go. They just have to drop, because you can't just play this shit in the open. I know that for most people that play 40K, a single event like this isn't that big of a deal. But for those people who do opt to put the blood, sweat, tear effort that being at and doing well at WTC takes, it's a lot, folks. This idea that it's some like crazy informational advantage, particularly when it comes to the French event, who everyone there knew the score, all of the lists were gettable in that space. What you do when you say this can't happen is now the people just can't go to those events. Just can't do it. All of the practice goes internal. So if you don't want your WTC team to be an even more tucked away, silver walled, lost to everyone, can't participate in their locals because they're stuck doing this.
I think there is a degree of it that's like, yes, you're not entitled to the information, but also it was a little bit, like they had the people that were on other WC teams besides the French, like Liam's list was available and stuff like that, right? Like, did they
You
ask?
could just
Maybe not.
ask, right?
Yeah, and that's fair. But was it a thing that was asked and offered, or was it a thing that like they submitted the list and they were like, cool, we're putting them under the NDA, right? Like, I think it's kind of one of those things of, if you're going to do it for one, you probably should do it for everyone if you're going to do it for an event. And also,
but that's up to the TO, right?
yeah, for sure.
If there's no
But
actual advantage gained, if there just isn't, right? Who fucking cares?
You have the advantage of you have the advantage of like people at the event, if they don't get them in advance, can't necessarily do the like, okay, I'm going to prep the list and read it and make sure I understand what it works, especially if you're showing up with like something that is spikes for WTC, right? Something that's unknown and
can.
So
then why does it matter? There's an assumption being made that there is an advantage here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where most, insofar as I can tell, outside of the like, why can't I see everything all the time, comes from, is that there's an implication of advantage, or in worse cases, sometimes an implication of cheating.
Right.
If that's not present, which insofar as I am aware from the French event, it was not, what the fuck difference does it make?
Sure. And like, I personally prefer hidden lists to disinformation lists. I think that if we're going to go down one route or the other,
sure.
The reported the Australia lists, the Team Australia event were just fake lists and stuff like that does annoy me, right? Like if that is more annoying, right? Because it does the thing
if
that
it was that I don't.
If it was
insofar
that, right?
as
Which
we're
obviously
aware,
we don't know,
yeah.
But it's it's not a hard thing to be like, okay, I've heard from a few people now that might have happened. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, right? But there is components of this that it's like, this data that we generate that is used by Games Workshop, right? Games Workshop uses these balancing data. If you're putting in fake lists, especially, I think that does have an impact on that, right? It's like, okay, what did well at tournaments, right? Oh, this that no one was playing suddenly has 2 event wins and all that kind of stuff. Like that can be kind of,
yeah, that stuff's bad, right? Like again, I would much prefer, and part of the reason that I'm like here saying this is that I would vastly prefer a world where someone was just like, this list is hidden, right?
Yeah.
If you're at the event, you get it, you can see it, you can play. Easy. That's it.
Yeah. I think I have umbrage with fake lists. Hidden lists, I'm like, look, I think it's stupid. I get it, why, but also if you want to go to an event like that, just play a different list. It's fine. It's a single tournament. It doesn't have to be the thing you're going to play for teams. The information is as likely to be a psyop as it is anything else at this point in 40K, right?
I mean,
so
it
I'm
might
playing
be.
this thing, blah blah blah.
Right.
Who fucking knows? And yeah, people are massively overfixated on it because it used to be like if the event had just not been on BCP and had just been on a French app, would you have ever noticed?
Yeah, if it was on Tourney Keeper, would anyone give a shit?
Exactly,
No.
right? Which is like, I get it from a data collection standpoint. It sucks that we don't get to have the data of what actually won or what actually did well at these tournaments, right? Because from our perspective as StatCheck, we'd like to have that data. We'd like to know what's
Sure.
doing well. We'd like to know what's doing well at tournaments. But also, it's like 7 people.
Yeah. It's just not that many people. Like, especially if you compare to the overall data set, it's just not that many.
Yeah. Like,
Like, I
I'm
think
going to Edinburgh. I'm playing a list. If you think it's my WTC list, Godspeed. If you don't, Godspeed. I don't really give a fuck.
sure.
We will work through it. And when the game hopefully changes next week, because it will be funny.
Please no.
I'd love it so much.
If the game changes next week, all of this doesn't fucking matter anyway. What are you on about?
It depends, right?
Even
It
just the
depends how it
Tacoma
changes.
FAQ that came out between list submission and now changes armies.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much changing every time. And in 2 weeks from now, when we're all 3 weeks deep into our list spiral for WTC, nothing that happened in those last 2 weeks will matter.
Yeah. I firmly, like, it's just so obvious to me, like, why, right? There's nothing, it's easy to do it. You can just ask. It's a 4-second conversation. Or you can like, it just doesn't, I don't know. It's just such a nothing
The number of
thing.
times I've rocked up to a tournament with a list that I submitted that my opponent's not read anyway, it wouldn't have
Right.
mattered if it was on BCP.
Yeah. Like, you're the one that gets me most, like, really, is just the people that weren't there. Like, if you weren't there, why do you give a shit? Who fucking cares?
Because I want to know what Olivia was playing.
I bet you do. I would love to know also. Tragically, it's not that time of year, baby.
If I can give my take on it, I have been of the sentiment like, end of the day, like I'm most annoyed by it because I don't care, and it kind of feels like I'm being made to care, if that makes sense. Because I'm almost of the opinion of like, to me, these events, you know, in the prep leading up to it, you have a lot of countries playing against each other. You have a lot of the top players playing against top players. It's like, why are we putting this much effort into a singles event to where most of the games played to practice these lists aren't really going to matter, right? It's kind of, and I mean this in the most respect to the community of like, if I go to a local RTT, right, and I bring, you know, Swarmhost back in 10th, I'm not really taking into consideration if those, like, the outcome of those games on whether or not the list is good or not, because it kind of like the skill gap is so high, right? Eric Lethuris is always going to do well with Outlander Claw. He's the Outlander Claw guy, right? It doesn't really matter what the fine tunings of his list was. He probably was going to fucking win anyways. So it's like, to me, I get annoyed because I'm like, why are we even jumping through the hoops, right? Like, it feels like it's a lot of effort for maybe something that doesn't matter
I kind
in
of
the
land
end.
in the same spot as you,
but
where it's like, I appreciate that it's like, it's such a nothing burger, as Eldrazi Winter in chat says, right?
yes,
Like, it doesn't really matter. The information isn't that useful for, frankly, for anyone, right? I know that we have different opinions on this one, Anthony, but I just truly don't think that the idea that people are playing a faction or playing a list impacts enough about the comp is going, because there are so many teams you have to consider. Maybe you guys are in a position
Oh,
of being like, we only
that's
have to
so
consider
not how
3
we
teams.
approach the event.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Like,
But I think
as
for
an example,
the
right?
majority of people,
To use an
Go for it.
extreme example, if everyone played fully in the open, how different is that really from them just posting their 8 up, right? I think we can start with an agreement, right? We agree that just being like opening the show, the opening title screen of StatCheck being your 8 lists for Team Scotland is not something you'd be willing to do, right?
yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So, how many steps removed from that do you get before you're like, I'd prefer people didn't know our comp?
I think that if you're willing to play the list in an open tournament, you should be treating it as you're gaining more advantage from the reps, the practice, or the information than you're gaining by giving up the information. And
But
you
why
get
not
to
do
make that
both
decision
if
for
you have a
willing.
supportive community?
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, I appreciate that if your community is willing to do that. I don't think it matters, but I also just don't think you're getting that much out of it, right? That's kind of where my take is. Like, I don't think you're getting that much out of hiding the lists relative to if you want to get the practice, you know, play something different, play something slightly different, play something completely different. Like, do you value the time? I guess is
Well, it's mostly a question to me of, do you want these WTC players to participate in their local scenes, right? The scenes that they're playing and where they're testing these events, running these ideas. so that then it can become a thing that that community then sees and gets to play against and learn what to do against and get a more advanced understanding of the early edition especially? Or do you want all of this practice to take place behind the fucking shield? And if the answer is the second, that's fine. But that's the actual end step of this, right? Is because you've not allowed a space for them to participate, they're not going to. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't have our boys do it now. Like, there's just no reason to.
That's fair, but I'll also like, so I do like this take because I haven't thought of this angle of we still want these people to to not have a reason to have to go into hiding, right? But also I do look at like Heroes Cup just happened, right? And obviously Lennon's going to be on the team. Lennon took a list that I don't think it may or may not be on the official thing, right? Who knows? But it more than likely is something of like, I'm just going to bring something, right?
Yeah.
And so there is something of like I feel like if they were going to be a part of their community, they can still just, go to the event and bring something else. But I think at the end of the day, at this point, I'm so much on the middle of, I don't care either way, just make a ruling on if it's allowed or not. And so everyone can do the thing, right?
Yeah. I think it's such a like a ground ball. It's such an easy thing, right? I think to have a situation set up that allows for it to work.
Sure.
But we're here now, and there's been an official statement from the organizer, and it's too late now.
Don't do this.
So back behind the wall we go, boys.
Well, it might change for next year.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that probably deserves a discussion, right? But I do think that the outcome of this that results in people submitting fake lists is so much worse, and I don't
think.
want that.
I mean, again, that's
yeah.
what by saying don't do this, you only open up those angles, right?
Yeah, you encourage fake lists over, and I think that this is I think that hiding lists is a better alternative to fake lists, which is why I'm landing on the like. Look, if your community is willing to support it, I don't think it's that big a deal. No one on BCB deserves to know the information from your tournament. However, I do think that there is a degree here of like your event maybe shouldn't be counted towards ITC and ELO if you want to do this, and that's a concession that if you want to make it for your WC team, there is probably a component of you're not providing the information, right? Like you could be putting in a fake faction and getting ITC points for a faction that doesn't win, that results in you winning a faction. And
look,
like
all that's bad,
which I do think is a bad thing, right?
Yeah,
there is stuff in here that catapults out of hiding lists and then the implications that come from that are dangerous insofar as anything in 40K can be dangerous, right?
Like so far as fake lists go, I don't think hiding lists actually.
I think even just like fake faction on BCP, so people don't know what faction you're taking, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's the same thing, right?
I mean, you could just submit it. It just doesn't matter that much, I don't think.
Sure.
But yeah,
I just think there's dangerous parts that come with anything that goes down this route.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the whole thing is easily avoidable. The issue from where I sit now is that there's been like an official statement made that is essentially, from my perspective, it looks like they made that so a bunch of people would get in the comments go, yeah, and it doesn't actually, like, the actual impact on the people that attend your event is bad. So what are you gonna do?
People in chat being like, people who submit fake lists should get banned. Like, I don't understand what metric you think there exists to ban people based on that is, but every individual tournament has its own ban list. There is no globalized central ban list that is even remotely maintained, and there is literally no meta function for you to do that. So I don't understand what that would even look like, besides being like, this guy submitted a fake list one time. Okay. Cool.
Make sure he doesn't do that again. Yeah.
Now everyone has a pocket hell brute.
Yeah.
Look, if WC players are using this to cheat, that is a separate issue, right? Like, if
bad.
they're doing that shit, they should be, fucking pilloried in the community for sure.
Right.
But that's also just, you're basing that on the apropos of nothing, right? There's no information that puts you there.
I think in terms of the fake list stuff, like, I am only a little, like, the reason why I don't want the fake list stuff to happen is because there's so many people who like make a GT or a major like their event of the year to where they get out of the
Yeah.
house. And if that guy exists and is going to this event, he's not in the 40K scene enough to know that like this could be even be a thing, right? And so there might be that thing to where he loses the game and then he goes back and he wait, this isn't right, and it becomes awkward. But that's also like a small thing, and maybe everyone is aware at this event. It's in a different country than us, right? We don't know how this event was ran. Everyone there could have been like, fuck yeah, go for it. Go win WTC, buddy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I would prefer it to where if we are going to keep the shit, keep the WTC NDA stuff so people don't do fake lists, because it gets more complicated with like the fake list shit than the NDA shit.
There's so much more room for fuckery rather than just being like hidden, right? Just hidden, goes out to all the people via email.
If you even really want it to fucking matter, like you could have it to where like these become unhidden after WTC. That way we have it for stats and stuff like that. Sure. But it like
you could do that. You could also literally, if you wanted to, run an event on BCP that just doesn't have public lists. There is no requirement in anywhere in 40K to have your list be public. You could literally just have a Google document that is available for people on iPads at the tournament. Like there is an offline document that you can view on these laptops. Your opponent's list comes out, you have a paper copy, you give them. That is it. That is the only way to access, and that is a completely legal way to run a tournament in 40K. There is no rule against doing this. The only reason that we have publicly available lists is because it is the standard. The standard is not a requirement, and anybody who's trying to pretend that it is kind of just putting their own perspective onto something that isn't there. Now
we're all assuming,
yeah. Is that a bad thing? That's a moral judgment that you're putting on a tournament that isn't present.
Isn't one that you were at? Why do you care?
How do you enforce no one leaking them? You don't, right? Don't. Like ultimately, what the argument that is kind of coming from here, which is a reasonable argument, is that by saying to the WTC players that, hey, we are going to allow you guys to preserve the information without putting it publicly, is that you are encouraging them to come and be involved in your community and putting trust in your community to maintain that statute of secrecy, right? Or that statute of not revealing the lists. If some people in your community decide to push that out, then they are, to some degree, coming out against their own community, right? Like they're saying, we are doing this thing to allow our WC players to come and engage in playing games with the rest of the community, playing Warhammer with them, and participating in our tournaments because we want to see the best players in the world at our tournaments, or the best players in our country at our tournaments. We're giving them a way to do that without jeopardizing their ability to perform the way they see best at WTC. Whether or not you think that is true or not is a separate entirely question, but this is the process behind it. And what you're doing is you are engaging those players with the community and then giving the community a reason to trust them and a way to trust them. If they choose not to, that is between them and the community.
Also, not for nothing, a fairly important point here is that there have been several times where like a closed list event has leaked and it has been on the other teams not to look. And speaking only for mine, when shit like that happens, we don't. So if someone at the event wanted to be shitty and come to us and be like, hey, we got a leak, we would tell them to fuck off. Because much like in the tabletop, the intent of the thing is very clear.
Yeah, and teams don't leak scrim lists. Teams don't, like, there is so much opportunity for this shit to go wrong. Like, I get it, it's fine, but I think it's such a non-issue that I think, and this has happened every year that I've been part of WTC.
Right.
This is not new. It is just louder this year for whatever reason, because it happened, like, events are higher profile now. It's just easier to see a bunch of stuff.
Hear me out. I'm blaming this on the guard drama because everyone was mad and riled up and wanted to continue to be mad and riled up.
Yeah, it might have been related. I just think it's a crazy thing to get mad about. Like especially if it doesn't actually impact you. Like if you weren't sat at the event, enough.
Look, I get the leaking script. Like, yeah, whatever. There is none of this affects you as a player of a 40K player that wasn't at these tournaments. It really doesn't matter for anything other than stats and data collection. And it's such a drop in the ocean of stats and data collection that who gives a shit?
I'll also say as a fun little small point, and then we should probably move on because we've been talking about this for a hot minute. But like to continue to be devil's advocate for it, there is almost something to where it like pulls in the community a little bit to focus on the WTC team. because
Yeah.
it's like, as like a communal thing of like, oh yeah, we're keeping it hidden so
Working
that we
together.
can we're working together so we can do well. And then, those people that played against the WTC members might be checking in to see how the games are doing. And now that's more support for, the international teams events and stuff like that. So
Look,
that could totally be like an opening for
Especially
other
in
people to
France,
get
where like
more
the
involved,
entire
right?
year is centered around WTC,
Yeah.
right?
France lives this shit, people. Like, France is the back-to-backs for a fucking reason. They have the weight and the support of their community behind them.
So
Mhm.
I think, John, the thing here is that you don't get to decide what the community that the games are being played in decided, right? Like, that community has decided that that event for them is an in-private event. That's it. That's all that actually happened here. They just
Also,
decided that we're
just to be totally clear, the WTC teams don't need external practice. External practice is a thing that they're opting to do, but the true optimal way for teams like that to practice is to use the fact that they have usually the best players in their given nation to practice internally by
Mhm.
taking time to go to a tournament when they could be doing a boot camp. They are taking a performance-based hit in order to effectively engage with their community. So that is why I think perhaps all of this is more easily avoided by just hiding literally everyone's list at the event.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the other the one thing I will say for this one, I would not be surprised if there was like an event cannot give a golden ticket to someone with an NDA list or
That
something.
probably shouldn't happen. If
That,
that's
I
happening,
think-
don't do that.
Right. Let's move on because I have stats. And Anthony has like
Yes.
18 minutes left, and I want him to react to some of these.
Oh god.
Oh no.
I haven't even read them. I just want you to react to them. 'Cause I
Oh,
know that
okay.
you're
Normally when
faithful
you're
listener.
like, I want you to react to stats, bad shit has happened, and I'm
Nah,
like, oh
I mean,
no.
like, not specifically. I just kind of want to do them like this. All right, we have in order. So this is from I don't know how many games, but not a ton. 822 players, 3,771 games. There we go.
Woo.
We have in first place overall with 45 players, 5.5% of the metagame. We have Orcs with a 64.4% win rate.
That's not great.
Boys.
So here's the thing, folks. Finish the rest of the stat line for the
Yeah,
Orcs.
for Orcs specifically, 4 event wins, 12
Oof.
top 4s, 19 top 10s, and a 3.04 over rep.
Okay. So I do get to say the thing that I thought I was going to get to say. Here's the thing, folks. Orcs are usually, frequently, like Marines and Guard and whatever.
Redheads.
Pick your favorite thing to hoop on for its player base, doing a bit of throwing. Orcs hitting 3
50% is
for
scary.
overrep is wild. Orcs getting real close to 65% also is fucking crazy.
Yeah, they're like
crazy
one of
thing
those
about it
factions
is-
where you just kind of have to like assume that the win percentage is like
It's a little
actually
higher, yeah.
5% like higher. So this is really like a 69%. So pretty nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with, honest to God, like, not to blow too much smoke here, knowing my audience of the two of you, but you usually have to do the same thing, like, kind of in the inverse with GSC, right? Because there's, like, 4 people that play it. So you usually have to, like, hit it with, like, a, minus 3. Like, whatever GSC's win rate is, it's actually 3% lower than that.
The
Be
crazy
nice to
thing
me.
about
I
it,
like it
though,
when
is
I
you
like
throw
it when you're
darts-
nice.
Sorry. Gordon.
No, keep going. Go.
Yeah, you throw darts at the Orcs Codex, you come out with a viable army right now. Everything is so goddamn cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, Joel won the French event with more DACA plus Lutas, just with like 4 bricks of delete you orc mount.
you
model.
die right now.
Yeah, you die. Ballistic skill 6 is just ignore cover now, boys.
That's true. It can't go to 7.
It can't go to 7, so if you stand still for heavy, you hit on 5s.
Even if they're in cover.
Yep.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this game, dude. It's so fun.
They just need to bring back Ballistic Skill 7.
Yeah, you in fantasy, if you have ballistic skill 7, you have to roll a 6 and then a 4 to hit.
Oh no, I meant like in the old days in 40k where it was like you had to
Where you
roll a
just can't
7 and
hit.
that was impossible. Like it should be like there should be like a keyword, right? Called like not a fucking chance. And it's like the opposite of torrent. And it's just like you just can't. This
just
may
sound
not
tricky.
hit.
Yeah.
Stars got a line, big dog.
Yeah. It's somehow it's still not better than getting hit by the plunging fire heavy looters with ignore cover though. So
Yeah. You should have like to reroll successes or something. You know what I mean? Like it just like it's so dumb.
at least they no longer reroll all hits on Overwatch. That's nice at least.
That's true. Little blessings. That's one of those things that like Overwatch I think on the whole was probably buffed in the new edition. With it being like end of phase and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't phase out now.
But not being able to reroll is a big
Just the
change.
best.
That is really nice.
I also think you probably shouldn't get to reroll wounds. It's really annoying. But
that shit is confusing, right? They were like, no
Yeah.
rerolls to
to
hit.
hit.
The hit.
All right. Next up, we have Imperial Knights with 36 players, 4.4% of the metagame. They had a 54.6% win rate. So a casual 9.8% lower win rate from first to second. They had 1 event win, 2 top 4s, 6 top 10s, and a 0.63 over rep.
That's
Okay.
look, it's a little high. But
Uh,
it's the overrep is fine.
Yeah.
Like they're
In
going
third
look,
place.
it's hard to look. It's hard to be mad at like a 54%
54
win rate,
terrible over rep. 1
and then
event
just
win,
like
yeah.
not good over rep. It's like, all right,
They be smashing Beatles.
yeah, they do smashing the shit out of them Beatles. They be going clunk clunk clunk, dude.
All right. In third place, we have Space Marines with 7.2% of the metagame, a 54.6% win rate, 4 event wins, 10 top 4s, 17 top 10s, and a 1.94 over rep.
Marines are not
class.
supposed to have a positive overrep number, people. What are we doing? What happened?
Remember that thing we just said about orcs and treadheads?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that applies to Marines too.
Yeah.
In fourth, we have Necrons with 5.8% of the metagame, a 54.1% win rate, 2 event wins, 5 top 4s, 13 top 10s, and a 1.19 over rep. And in fifth place, we have Tau Empire with 7.9% of the metagame, the single most represented faction in all of our data. A 51.7% win rate, 2 event wins, 8 top 4s, 15 top 10s, and a 1.41 over rep.
All right, I'm just gonna come out and say it, and I'm gonna get in trouble for this again. I don't think Tau
Are good.
is necessarily as much of a problem as it was made out to be.
Yep.
I think that Tau does really fucked up stuff and obviously needs to be changed as a result. But this idea that every Tau game is just like an instant auto win LOL fest is like a sad joke.
I think Tau are a negative gameplay experience that should be solved with rules changes, not points changes. It feels like they have like the right stuff, but they just have like too much. Maybe some of the Crisis Suit squads.
Some point changes, yeah.
Like minor
Why
points
is-
changes, but rules changes. The scout enhancement just needs to not work on vehicles, bro.
Why is
I
a
don't know
crisis
why.
suit the same as an aberrant? That's all I want to know.
No,
To be
no,
fair, it is
that's-
harder to kill the aberrant.
No, no,
Not
don't
that
say
much
that.
harder.
Let me believe.
It is harder. Like I have killed several crisis suits on accident.
That's fair.
Yeah, okay.
I've been like, I'll pack to get Abaddon's CP. Oh god, 3 of them died.
I really, really, really think Strike Swiftly is a mistake now that we play Dawn of War
Yeah.
more often.
Yeah, look, Dawn of War is its own problem. I do think that Tau is definitely catching astray from Dawn being more present.
Yeah, Dawn exists. Like, realistically, I'm standing by this one. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Events should just say you play A unless it's Dawn or sweeping, in which case you play B, and then the same thing for B, in which case you play C.
Yeah, you just go down the line.
Just don't play
Yeah.
Dawn. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You should not play Dawn or sweeping.
I mean, I absolutely plan to run my local events. Once WTC is over and I'm back to being a TO,
Yeah.
like, I am absolutely not I'm not forcing people into Dawn. There's no fucking way. It's such a bad
That's a
gameplay
good rule.
experience every time.
And I think I would even do the same in teams. If you're like, no, you can't pick Dawn. You can't pick the Dawn match.
Sure, that's reasonable. I think if I ran like a small local team event, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I am
to
DMing that
headless,
to my local TO.
yeah,
'cause I like
to
that
headless
idea.
chicken support there. I really don't think Tau is like that. The reason that feels that way.
No,
Like Tau
power
has
just yeah.
Tau has problems. Don't get me wrong. Tau is like an objectively negative gameplay experience, and I can totally commiserate with people that are having a bad time playing into them. Fair. But I think a lot of that stuff is knock-ons from core rules changes, not Tau.
Yeah, I
Is it
think that's
weird to say that I
cool.
almost want to see them go in like a T-Sun's direction to where like they do more things but are just more expensive?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, well,
right
I mean,
now
kind
it
of the
feels like
problem.
Horde Tau, you know? Like you just have so much shit as the Tau player. I
I
think.
think there's probably like a spectrum, right, between like what Crisis Suits did in ninth and what they are priced to do now. And I think I would prefer them farther on this side than where they are, right?
Yeah.
It feels like every model that's smaller than like a like the Trigon base, like the 120 by 90, doesn't get to be a centerpiece model anymore. And Crisis
Right.
Suits feel like a unit that should be a centerpiece. Like you play like two of these, and they're like really powerful.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
all right, next up from the bottom five, including only
I just don't
factions
want to
with
be here.
including only factions with 10 or more players. So I'm skipping over Imperial Agents and Deathwatch. In last place, we have Chaos Knights, 1.8% of the metagame with 15 players. They had a 37.9% win rate with no event wins, no top fours, one top 10, and a 0 for overrep.
That army is getting scammed. Them leaving Imperial Knights in the state that they are with all the things that they can do, and Chaos being in the state that they're in with the things that they can do, is like a sad joke.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos Knights already only have one day issue, and they got some of the biggest points taxes of the game on them.
Right. Yeah.
Next up, we have World Eaters, also
God
with 15 players.
Damn it, dude. Fuck.
A 38.1% meta rate,
Oh my
percent
God.
win rate, no event
It's
wins,
the
no top
Melee
fours, and
edition!
2 top 10s, and a 0 overrep.
I mean, to be fair, it is the Melee edition, just not like that. Like, orcs are doing great. It's going awesome for the orcs. But
Deathwatch
yeah.
and Imperial Agents both had a 40 and 39.5% win rate. Deathwatch did have a 2.85 overrep with a top 4 and 2 top 10s, but no event wins and only a 39.5% win rate. In actual third place, we have Death Guard with 26 players at 3.2%, 40.6% win rate, 1 top 4, 2 top 10s, no event wins, and a 0.44 overrep. In fourth place, we have Blood Angels with 37 players for 4.5% of the metagame, 44.4% win rate. So actually, the bottom three real factions are mostly outside the balance window. 44.4 rounds up, with 1 top 4, 4 top 10s. Okay, and a 0.31 overrep.
You'll notice a small trend in most of these bottom armies.
Bad melee armies.
Yeah, it's brutal right now, dude.
And in fifth place, from the bottom, we have Astra Militarum with 27 players, a 3.3% play rate, 44.7% the win rate with 2 event wins, 2 top 4s, 5 top 10s, and a 0.85 overrep. Look, Guard are low end of power, but still basically in the balance window.
They're destroying. That's 2 event wins. That's more than basically everyone else.
Our other event winners of the week were Adeptus Mechanicus got 1 event win, Chaos Space Marines got 1 event win, Adeptus Custodes got 1 event win, and otherwise it was so of the events this week, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There were 18 events tracked this weekend. The top 5 factions represented 14 of those 18 wins.
The meta top heavy.
Didn't GSC win one, or was Eric's list last week? I've heard.
Eric did not win that
Eric
event.
didn't win.
William Hackett did win that.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
Here's the thing. This really top heavy meta shit has been the same since December. Coincidentally, when the beginning of haves and haves not hell started, with those horrendous campaign releases. Genuinely, the best thing they could do with this next slate is just be like, hey guys, you know everything that happened since like December? Our bad. Oops. That shit
Honor
all
12 wounds again.
It's all going back into development. We made a mistake. None of that exists anymore. It's all going in the legends until we can figure it out. Here you go.
Anthony, they're already too busy working on the next set of campaign books. What are you on about?
I know, dude.
Hell yeah.
No.
We're getting Catan. We're getting the Deceiver next. He's going to be 20 wounds.
Not again. His gun's gonna be flat 5 and 7
Yeah,
shots.
he's got -1 to hit instead of stealth now because stealth is bad.
Yeah.
He's also
So look, the meta's a little top heavy, you know.
That's fine. People like him top heavy sometimes. It's okay.
True.
Like that can be some people's thing, and that's okay. Okay. How, like, where is the cutoff? Because I know in December it was like what we had like 8 or 9 factions, which were kind
Oh
of
no,
like
this
the
is
end of-
literally the top 5.
there
and then
are
it's just
4 factions that
And
are
then-
54% or higher, and then there are one,
like what's the next step after
one,
that?
2, 3. So the steps are currently at 65, which is
Mhm.
one faction org, 64.4, but I'm going to just use the easy numbers. 54 is Imperial Knights, Space Marines, and Necrons. Then 51 is Tau and EC, and Thousand Sons and Genestealer cults, and that's it.
notably
Then-
that band of folks. If you put
Yeah.
Tau in the one above, not below,
Yeah,
does not
Tower
have an event button.
51.7, EC are 51.3, Thousand Sons GSC are 50.9, Dracari's 50.5, so is Custodes, Eldari's 50, GK 49.5, Chaos Demons 49.5, Chaos Space Marines 49.3, Dark Angels 48.8, Tyranids 48.6, 48.1 for AdMech, 48.1 for Black Templars, 47 for Votan, 46.1 for Sisters, 45.2 for Space Wolves. That's like, you can kind of see like, you know, the 51 to 50 to 48 band is pretty like small drop offs, small play rates, right? Then at 47, you drop to Votan, 46, then 45, then 45 for Astra, 44 for Blood Angels, then Death Guard's 41, World Leaders is 38, and Chaos Knights is 38.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is those top 5 have all those event wins, and then that
Yep.
next like cluster until you get down to Custodes, I think it was,
Yep.
doesn't. Like they're just not winning events. In the
Yep.
case of EC, as an example, actually, they're way up there in win rate. By way up there, I mean a perfectly balanced 51%. But they have like a 0.5 over rep because they're just not converting.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and to be fair, there are only 14 events this week, right? Only half of the factions could convert this week, even
Sure.
in a balanced metagame, right? There is going to be small levels of variance in this, and I do think that some of those factions that only have no wins are going to be vulnerable to, oh, their player, it was a lower than average. Like GCHC have 12 players, right? Like
Right.
there is only so many chances they get at winning a tournament, even if they have like a 60% chance of going 4-0, right? They're only going to win one of those tournaments on a good week, right?
I mean, there
With-
remains a lot that is outside of like the scope of a player's control. That is
Mhm.
what makes you win an event, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Win path,
And also,
pairings.
frankly, some of these events could have been won by fucking anything if it's WTC locked.
True, dude. Yeah, if people were
Yeah.
just straight up lying, it is challenging to control what that is.
Guard actually won 4 events this weekend, not 2.
Yeah, who fucking knows, dude? It could be anything.
Liam Hackett actually won with agents. He just had Necrons on BCV.
That sure, maybe, dude.
Could be anything.
God.
But on that note,
Anthony's got to go.
I gotta go. Are there any show questions for me specifically? If not,
I don't know, Anthony.
That
I
seems
didn't-
like a
Everyone I
thing
said
you
hi
I, don't, I,
to.
know.
didn't, I didn't
They're
look at them in
shorter.
advance. We're not meant to look at them in advance.
You're the guy who knows stuff, dude. What the
I'm
heck?
sometimes the guy who knows stuff. I don't see anybody that said hi, Anthony. So
That's a good
no,
start.
I think it's okay.
Do,
I think you're
do.
fine.
We did it. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Be nice to your local WTC players. They're fucking going through it right now. It's bad
Dude,
time in the
it's
mental
it's a
health
tough
world.
time. It's a tough time.
It is
Goodbye.
very sad.
Cool. All right, now that Anthony's gone, WTC NDAs are whatever.
It's like I get annoyed when I have to care about something I don't want to care about,
Exactly,
and
dude.
like
It's
that's
so
where that's where I'm annoyed. It's just
I
like
do-
stop making me give a shit.
I do think the WTC is catching like, oh man, there's been some like kind of weird preliminary FAQs coming out of it because they're like, oh, we're doing strict raw, and people are boiling over it, like the lack of communication from GW about some of the stupid FAQ stuff. WTC's given their
Yeah.
opinion on some of it, and it's like, man, WTC always makes terrible rulings. It's like, guys, there's no information to make rulings based on. It just, yeah, it happens. Question for Anthony: thoughts on data slates being 4 days before the submission? Anthony loves it and he can't wait. Anthony's been
Cool.
practicing 17 different armies just to make sure he's fully dynamic for when he has to jump onto disruption.
As someone who is just an advisor, I am just in that Discord looking, and when they have a GSC question, they sometimes ask me. I love it because I get to see the world on fucking fire and then just be like, well, I'll be here if you have questions you're never gonna ask.
Well, after Sam's GSC experiment last year, I can't imagine them being super quick to
Yeah.
jump on it again.
There's been 2 events now. I've suggested GSC, and they're just like hard pass, and I'm like, okay, I understand.
What if instead of doing that, we didn't? Um, uh, do you want to
So
really quickly talk about the Tacoma FAQ, just because it's kind of interesting?
yeah, for sure. I can also just like boot it up here,
Yeah, I'm gonna just
so
throw it
like
up
I
on the
have something
screen
to
share.
reference.
I'm gonna throw it up on the screen share as well, so people can see it because I think it's kind of
Beautiful.
interesting to talk about. So one of the things that I liked about this document is it's written in much more colloquial language than I think these are generally written in, where they're
Yes, it
like,
feels like
"Hey,
someone's
man, this is
talking to
just
me.
like this isn't like we're adding rules text. This is just stop doing this shit. We'll get a proper version of it written, but here's how you can keep playing your games in a more functional way."
Like
Um,
there's so much like that can just kind of be like hand waved away when you're like, stop fucking it up for everyone, right? When you just like talk like a human and everyone's like, okay,
Yeah, I actually
I'll
really like this
stop.
document, and I wish more. Like, I know appreciate that we've just moved away from conversational 40k rules, and it is a good thing. But this
Mhm.
document just being like, hey, here is some precedent that you can apply to some stuff. We'll get properly written versions of this with numbers and shit done later. But here's how to just like, oh my god, the games have been so much like playing the practice weekend this weekend compared to the 5 games I played the weekend before was just much nicer. It was just much easier to be like, no, FAQ stops that. No, we don't have to deal with that shit.
I
So I figured
also
we just
really appreciate the line of independent organizers may choose to use this document. And so it's basically like a, hey, you're not required to use this. This isn't like an official FAQ, but like if you want to while you wait for the real shit, go for it. I do like that.
Yeah, for sure. One quick thing from chat, Mr. Cage. I think 10 mans, 8 mans are already pushing the limits of logistics, and I really think pushing to 10 mans just makes
Hmm.
things even harder. Um, but yeah, maybe I think if there was ever a drive to do it, but I think it's already hard for some of the smaller countries to get 8 teams to WTC, and I do think it is valuable to like keep that number accessible for some of the smaller like Eastern European teams and some of the South American teams that have come in the past,
Yeah.
South and Central American teams, right? They're just not having to reach out to like 3 or 4 mercs extra on top of their like 6 players they can get is nice. So,
Also, I'm not going to subject a team to having to get 2 disruption players. That's just
dude, could
cruel
you
and unusual
imagine?
punishment.
Could you
I'm already
imagine having to
depressed
be the
enough as it
second? Like
is.
you're like, oh man, the good disruption army's already gone. I have to figure out a second one. Fuck. All
Oh
right.
boy.
So CP capped at one per battle round outside of the core CP. Man, I can't believe this made it through at all. I played assuming this existed for the first like 10 games until I found out it didn't. And the
Hmm.
number of people who told me that this exists in the doubles pack was very funny.
I
Um,
I played like it existed until someone told me it didn't, and I was like, oh, okay. They didn't tell me about it existing in the doubles thing, so I was like, okay, I guess that's gone now. Made a list with like multiple tacos to try and get multiple CP a turn. Played against like Ashley, and the first time I was like, oh, I rolled 2 4-ups. I get my CP. She's like, are we really gonna do this? And I was like, oh, okay, I'm being that guy on accident. My bad. Whoops.
watching your guard player with just like infinite 4 ups was
Right.
scary. Modifying a stratagem CP cost. I don't think this is. I don't think I saw anything, but it's broadly if it says reduced to 0, it means reduced by 1.
Yeah.
Which unless it specifically says the name of the stratagem, which I think is a good catch-all change. One
Hmm.
normal move per phase definitely reduced some of the shenanigans. Having a Huron brick move at you, then do the bomb, and then follow you when you react moved away was not the most
Yeah.
fun thing in the world to engage with. Um, Stratagems that can be used more than once per phase are still limited, but you can do it if it specifies as the stratagem. You can add new units to your
Hmm.
army, but only once per game. That was gone for a little bit. So, Unending Swarm had like 6 minutes of joy, but yeah. Loan up 12 strats basically still work. They got pushed to 12, 18 inches. That was gone for a little bit. So I don't remember how many of them still existed. I'm guessing like the Vanguard needs one. Fine. Grenades and
Yeah.
tank shock are explosives and crushing impact.
We are being
Shocking nobody.
adults.
Um, Effects that force desperate escape checks make your opponent take a battle shock and a hazard check. This actually is a nice buff to those kinds of stratagems. I know
Oh,
like Aspect Host has one. Just being like you have to take a battle shock test and some desperate escapes is actually more impactful than it used to be, especially into big infantry squads, right? And
so
I think this is kind of nice.
that also makes me like the rock grinder, right? Like if you're not a monster vehicle and you have to fall back, you have to take a desperate escape. I also wonder if that's like because then it's if you're battle shocked, you take the roll at the -1. So is it you order it like do you do hazardous first or
Yeah,
do
this
you
technically
take the battle shock
doesn't
first?
specifically say that they take the hazardous checks at -1, but I would assume that that's the implication of that.
Okay.
But technically, it doesn't say that you. It just says you take the test at -1. Maybe that means the battle shock test. Maybe it means the like
Well, no,
you.
no, no. It says if you are
If
battle
you are
shocked,
battle shocked,
then the hazardous roll is at -1, right?
sure.
Or I don't know.
Battle shock happens at the end of the move. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, cool, cool,
Controlling
cool.
player, controlling objective at the end of the phase. This basically made it so that anything that happens at the end of the phase happens after objective control is determined, which
Okay.
mostly, I think there are a few things that get affected for this, like some things that came up. Reanimation protocols for Necrons are now
Mhm.
after objective controls, because you can't now reanimate onto an objective. You can still do it with anything that reanimates in the command phase, but not specifically reanimation protocols. Other things that this does change is it changes the controller for stuff like Overwatch. So if you have a rule that like affects enemy units on an objective you don't control, they would now check to see if the objective flipped, and then your overwatch would happen. So potentially that could be beneficial. It could also be detrimental depending on how the objective control changed. Um, so if you like walked off if you walked off an objective, or you walked onto an objective, you would gain control of it before the Rubric Marines overwatched you, for example. Whereas before it would have potentially been sequenced such that the overwatch would happen, then the objective control change would happen. So they wouldn't have the wound rolls until afterwards because they would still control it until that did.
Mhm.
I think this is a weird change that feels mostly aimed at like, let's nerf Necrons, but Necrons is specifically at the timing it is because it used to in 10th edition prevent them from reanimating before battle shocks, whereas now it feels like it's just oh man, Necrons have the worst version of a reanimate in the game. It
Yeah.
is kind of a weird timing, and I think reanimation protocols could probably stand to be moved to in the command phase instead, but also I'm not gonna sweat over it. It's whatever. You have to start stuff in the transport. I didn't even know that was gone. Um,
Yep. Yeah, it 100% was a thing. There was I remember seeing some match to where it was, I want to say it was Eldar brought like 6 of the wave serpents or whatever that just all just
empty.
no one in them, just for the love of the game.
I guess you can do that. Objective consolidation now must end unengaged and within range of the objective. This actually does have like a weird. You can now body block objective consolidation from getting onto an objective at all now. If you like
Yes.
line the edge of an objective where they can't get within 3 of you, they can't then consolidate through into the objective because they would be in engagement range of you. So you can potentially body block people getting on an objective. It makes preventing people consolidating onto objectives a little easier. You do have to still avoid getting engaging consolidated.
Mhm.
One thing this does also turn off is it does turn off ongoing consolidation or objective consolidation sliding into a unit and then it not hitting the timing to fight back. I do believe that the ongoing consolidation still allows this though, which I think is still weird and still needs to be adjusted. Because ongoing consolidations don't hit the timing to let a unit fight back.
That's a
Only engaging
thing.
consolidations do. Yeah.
God, I love when these facts hit and like a problem has been fixed that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, oh, that
It
sounds
exists for this
terrible.
one. So specifically for
Oh,
consolidations, only
yeah.
engaging consolidations give your opponent the ability to fight back. The other two did not. So you could pile into a unit with an objective consolidation because you were within 5 of them but not within 3 of them. So you would
Right.
go towards them but not engage them. Or without
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't be able to do an engaging consolidation because you weren't within 3, but you could engage them with the movement. And that's fixed this because you now can't engage you can't now engage a new unit with an objective consolidation, but you can still do it
Gotcha.
with the ongoing consolidation because that also doesn't hit the timing to grab a new unit. Notably, also units that you pile into with engaging consolidations don't get to consolidate themselves. So there's no cascade to it. They only get to pile in, they don't get to consolidate. There is some weirdness in this game.
40K is complicated, man.
40k is complicated. Um, Models that revive units create. You stand the character back up, and it's not part of a unit and has a starting strength of 1. Very
Mhm.
stupid with Celestine specifically. I don't understand how it works at all. Her healing tiers just no longer function.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she's also technically, you know, a new unit with the starting strength of 1. Like it makes some stuff weird. You can have like Celestine and her Gemini running around separately, still attached to a unit if she gets like precisioned out or whatever, which is kind of
Huh.
funny. Um, Healing wounds now no longer lets you bring back character models, which I think was just always a good
Very
change.
good. Yes.
Fantastic change, thankfully. Um, and it specifically also applies to regaining lost wounds, not just healing, which means this does also, as I understand it, apply to reanimation protocols, where previously it
Mm-hmm.
didn't. Gene Stealer cults can bring back character units, but they do have to wait till the character dies, notably,
Yes.
which is still a nerf relative to where it used to be, but isn't the end of the world. I
If with
believe
the
this should work that if your Abominant plus Aberrants die and the Abominant stands back up, he comes back as a separate unit with a starting strength of 1, and you can bring the aberrants back. But if you leave the Abominant alive, you can't bring back the aberrants back until he dies, which
Yeah,
is
that was the question I
really,
was going to
really.
ask.
As I understand it, it should not make it a new unit. It just sets the destroyed model back up on the battlefield, but it's still the destroyed model. So I don't think that any unit that stands back up on a 2-up once per game should continue to do that, right? It should still be once per game, as I understand it. But
Yeah, as far as like I'm reading it, it's just the character comes back as a new unit. That's where that starts,
well, as a separate
then
unit, not a new
yeah,
unit,
as a
right? Because a new unit.
yeah,
I think assuming that characters res infinitely because of the wording on this, like being slightly weird, seems like you're maliciously misreading or maliciously reading the rule with malicious intent instead of with the spirit of which it's intended, which I think is
yes.
strange.
Mhm.
Setting up large models for strategic reserve, aircraft can still shoot, basically. So
Okay.
they buffed the Tiger Shark and the Orion to be able to come in 6.2 inches off the board edge and still shoot. Whatever. They gave a bunch of stuff mobile. Tulia already had it because of her data sheet rule, I think.
Yep.
But Call, the Lion, Fulgrim, Guilliman, and the Red Terror gained it. The Red Terror's rule also gives him it. So this is basically
Yep.
just for these guys in the middle. I think Fulgrim still sucks. And that's whatever. A bunch of stuff that didn't have frame that should have had frame got it. A bunch of stuff that had frame that probably shouldn't have gained it. I think there might be some stuff that's like a little weird, like the Orion and the Ares, but whatever, their bases are big. Notably, Screamers lost it. I don't know if you
Oh,
played
thank
against
God.
Screamers with frame, but man, was that just stupid.
I every now and then I will go into the Team USA Discord and I will just see either Ruben or Nemo just saying some fuck shit that just I look at and it just makes my head hurt and I'm like, I'm leaving.
Why does
I
this
don't.
one Screamer unit at maximum coherency screen 305 inches? Why am I getting
Yeah,
puppeted through it?
God, dude. I saw that. I was like, I don't want to deal with Sint anymore, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, and then there's some FAQs about visibility of cover. So if you have like the split cover thing that we spoke about on the show a couple weeks ago, you do have to separate into 2 attack pools.
This is very cool.
If you disembark from a transport, you use rapid disembark, not emergency disembark, which was an interesting ruling. If you have a Vector, your opponent does have to use the stratagem if they can. And if they can't, they don't use it, but they still count as having used it. So if your opponent had 1 CP when you hit them with a Vect ability, they fail to use the commander roll. You can bait this out. You can try to use it elsewhere. Blah blah blah.
I
Your
have
opponent does have
I
to
have
use
a
it.
very stupid question.
Go for it.
Has Vex changed? Because I haven't played into Vect, and
Vect
this
is
doesn't
now once per turn.
Gotcha. So it's not the
When
aura
someone uses a
anymore.
stratagem within
Still
12
you
of you,
point.
you choose to affect a stratagem once per turn.
And so it's sounding like it's affecting the cost of that stratagem at that point. It's not doing what it was at the start of 10th to where it's all future
it is
uses
once
are
per
+1.
turn. That stratagem costs +1.
And you can't then say, "Oh, I don't want to use it for 2."
No,
you have to use
it if you started using it, but you can be like, "Oh, I didn't care about using that stratagem. I guess you used your Vect on it. Now I'll use this other stratagem I did care about." Right, that's fine.
Okay,
But
that's cool.
flying units take to the skies before they roll advances and charges. That is
Yep.
genuinely quite impactful and has been catching some people out so far. Where you're like, "Oh, you have to decide if you're taking to the skies," which then opens up the like a 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 now fails your charge if you were taking to the skies.
Yeah.
That right? You have to be very careful with taking to the skies now. But a rule that exists and that you should be aware of. Vect is not a mandatory activation. You can choose to use it or not to use it. How do you modifiers to the charge roll, such as take the skies and selection of charge targets? Charging unit may only set charges within the maximum of the charge roll, including modifiers. So you include the modifier before you check how far you can go, right? So if you take to the
Yes.
skies, you roll the dice and you rolled an 8 and you subtract 2 from that, you treat the charge distance as having been a 6. So your 6-inch ability to pick things is now how it works, and then you must need an engagement range of those things. Your distance is changed by the modifier. Your charge roll. So if you have a +1 or a -1, you change the roll relatively. Upgrades are enhancements. Shocking, I know. Units can't have upgrades and enhancements. Attached units can be given upgrades. None of this is new. Epic heroes can form attached units with units that have enhancements. Again, this was
That's
a little
fair.
bit ambiguous, but I do think this is a good change and one that makes sense.
I mean, we were starting to see this at the end of 10th with Corsair Coterie, right? Not only could you upgrade Epic's heroes
was one
because
you
he
could
specifically
give.
called them out, but you could give it to the squad and the Epic hero could still join that squad. I don't love that you can't double enhance anymore, right? Because like before, obviously, like in like Swarmhost or something like that, you could give an enhancement to the Primus and then one to the Nexus, and now you can't do that
I
anymore.
think it is annoying with 10th edition design sensibilities, but once we start getting into more of a like 11th edition design sensibility, it allows you to make enhancements much more powerful in ways that overlap with each other without having it be worried about a double stack, right? Like
Okay, I like that.
you can imagine a world where once we're out of the 10th edition version of enhancements, we get to a point where there are more things like the Hagiomen effects from Sisters, which are like, or guiding omens
Where
from Black
it's
Templars, which are incredibly high
transformative.
impact enhancements that you're just like, you can't have two of them, right? Or upgrades that are crazy powerful and things like that, right? Where you're like, this unit, this is transformational for this unit, but we don't want you to stack it with this other thing from another detachment that we've not considered the consequences of. And it lets the power budget for those things be much stronger. And I think that that's a
Mhm.
cool change eventually, even if it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, I could totally
It
see
just
that.
limits the upper ceiling on how broken a unit can be, and I think that that is generally a good thing. I think Death Stars are, as much as they are my Genesis and 40k, are not a thing we necessarily need to encourage.
Well, I think we see that also with like how they're setting up a lot of the detachments, right? So to keep it in the realm of GSC, not being able to take Biosanctic with the Pure Strain Brute Swarm.
Hmm.
So you have these, Strength 5, Toughness 5 Pure Strains that are +1 to charge, +1 attack, and are just, oh my God,
You're
insane,
also
right?
attaching the Patriarch with Dev Wounds and the
Yeah.
plus one damage enhancement, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like if we're going towards the world to where everything is much more impactful buffs, but you can't stack them as much, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I think it's also fine for them to just be like low power enhancements, and it's okay. Units
Yeah.
definitely could benefit from two enhancements in 10th. Just the same model, like, because an individual model couldn't have two enhancements, but that was it. There was no restriction on units having multiple.
Yeah.
Units that start the game on the battlefield and go into strat reserve cannot make an Ingress move on turn one unless specifically that their rule says they have to come back in the next movement phase. So examples given from here: Flesh Hounds go into strat reserve; they can't deep strike on turn one. However, Gaunt's Ghosts go up into reserve and must come down in the next turn. Therefore, that still works. Flesh Hounds don't. I'm sure you are molding because of Host of Ascension and Final Day.
Uh, it will also just Pure Strain Brute Swarm, right?
Sure.
I listen in 10th in a vacuum. I think this is a good rules change. In 11th, with everything like the pressure is real high right now.
I think that that's more a factor of it would be nice if the power level of the game came down a little bit, and this would feel less impactful if you weren't getting turn one jailed by Green Tide and Montka and equivalent
Yeah.
armies. I
There's
think
so
that
many
that's
times
a
now to where I play a deep strike heavy game and then, turn one does nothing and my opponent goes first and I have to go through two movement phases and now I'm screened out and I can do
yeah.
nothing.
Look, I get it, but that's a function of balance, right? Where
Yeah.
I think
And I signed up to play
limiting,
that, right?
yeah, I think you can just make the armies that relied on that cheaper or have better and different ways to play the game, right? If you're less dependent on
Yeah.
reserves, you can play a game stronger, right? Um, Rules that trigger on specific saves are now only applied when that is part of the current allocation group, and ignore anything that says specifically invulnerable saves. So basically, your Blade Guard unit can reroll ones to save in combat now instead of just invulnerable saves because you don't take invulnerable saves. I think that's kind of what this is
Gotcha.
saying. But also, Shadow Fields can't be rerolled if if the Shadow Field was the first of the allocation groups.
Cool.
That seems like the easiest way for that to go.
Yeah.
Miracle dice are weird, and I don't understand this well enough. I'm sure a sister player can explain this, but basically, you have to use it first, and it seems like you can only use one, even if you have access to two.
So that's a hit to Army of Faith, right?
Army of Faith specifically, yeah.
Huh. First single damage over main roll.
KR upgrades are enhancements. It is in the core rules that upgrades are enhancements. I don't think that we're going to see units that get enhancements and an enhancement
Yeah.
and an upgrade enhancement, and I think it's just fine that you can't do that.
Yeah.
VP scored at the end of the battle round are not part of the scoring limit. Yep, that makes sense. Otherwise, it'd be
Mhm.
really strange. Keywords are lost as the models in the unit that's provided that keyword are destroyed. Shocking nobody. If you lose all your guardians from your guardian unit in Guardian Battle Host, you can't bring it back just off the warlock. The guardians are dead. The unit no longer has the guardian keyword. Again,
Yeah.
just a good change.
You can't revive neophytes that are on a terrain if the benefactus lives.
Yeah,
Like these
exactly.
are
You
good
need to
things.
have at least one guy left. Do units' abilities continue to function while they're embarked in transports? Yes, unless it's a thing that applies to weapons equipped by the model, because the model is not equipped by the weapons. So you can't have like Azrael gives sustained hits to his guys, and then the vehicle has sustained hits from the thing. The gun is equipped with different vehicles, even though they would have the sustained hits, it doesn't work. I know we spoke about that on the show a couple weeks ago with Jeremy, and that is just not working. Armageddon datasheets aren't real until they're in the app. Fight on Death is still weird, but basically they can use a bunch of abilities and they still block consolidates, including pylons and overruns, which is still kind of crazy. Plunder affects the terrain area, not the unit in your terrain, so you can do it on an active terrain piece that is in your opponent's quarter, even if your unit is not.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, not within your territory. So it still has to be over the line wholly, but your unit doesn't have to be, right? So you can have like
Right.
one guy tow onto a terrain piece that's in your opponent half, and the rest of it still be in your territory and still do the action, but the whole terrain area does have to be in their territory and not yours.
Right. Like if a knight is still partially in your territory, you can still do that action and shoot.
They did not
Yeah,
answer how
that's
you
fine.
reroll saves. You just reroll the saves. Like if so for Blade Guard specifically, the entire unit gets the reroll ones to save ability, so you can just reroll. You just roll your dice and you pick up all the ones and you reroll them because the allocation group is everything. If you have an Archon with a
Mhm.
shadow field, if the Archon is the first part of the is the first allocation group, you can't reroll the ones and you can't reroll any ones. But if he's the last part of it, you can reroll all the ones, as I understand it.
Hell yeah.
Seems split your allocation groups, get your cover thing. And if your beacon unit dies, you can't pick a new beacon unit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, going back to the talking to us like humans thing, I do love the we recommend discarding it on your turn to gain a CP.
Yep.
It's cute.
Or, don't lose your beacon unit, dumbass.
True. Beacon is so awkward to get turn one in my eyes. I
Beacon
don't know.
is an awful card until it's an amazing card, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just one of those very volatile ones. Picking like, oh, my Gaunt Ghosts are still on the table, I guess I'll pick them, or my Red Terror or whatever is very, very scary though.
Yes.
Did they keep the rule where you can only res a squad once? Yes, they did. We did cover that one. Right. I'm gonna do the plugs, Floof. If you want to vamp for 2 seconds while I go find them.
Yeah. I was just gonna like see what your general takes on the Tacoma fact is. All of this seems just like good quality of life,
Yep.
right? Like I don't think there's anything in here I disagree with. There's some stuff that like kind of hurt GSC, but only if you were like me and only doing things out of spite to be like, well, if Necrons are doing it, I'm doing it too. But yeah, like not being able to bring back characters. I think them not being attached is a little rough, but
Nah, screw Necron Warrior bricks. If I precision your character out, you should lose him.
yeah, I think like if we had just kept it to where healing can't bring back the character, that would have been enough.
I think that's
But
probably fair.
I don't know, man. There's like this is also just like a hey, this is a temp thing until we get the actual FAQ, and they specifically stated not there's a chance that not all of this makes it through. So
I
there's
would
the
not be
world to where
surprised if some
Yeah.
amount of this gets refined, some amount of this gets updated, some amount of this gets just fully codified with no other change,
exactly.
right? Like it will be a little different in different directions. Right. Let's do some plugs. If you're here and you're enjoying the show, you're 83 minutes in and you've heard us whinge about a bunch of stuff, you're clearly enjoying it. So if you could do all the usual social things like liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff, you can go subscribe to Nexus Floof as well. It's a good channel that you might like. If you've liked listening to Floof, you should probably go do that. If you're in a position to support us a little bit more and you want to chuck us some money, you can check out patreon.com/statcheck, or you can find the YouTube memberships link in the description down below. $5 a month gets you access to our Discord. It gets you access to our tournament leagues. We're going to start up the next one after I'm going to try and start it up after the first day of Slate drops, so we can get going again with some singles games in the Statcheck Discord. But yeah, it's a great community that we are deeply proud of, and we are very thankful to everybody who's part of it. If you want to engage with, 10 months of the year talking about Warhammer, 2 months of WTC Shroud, because private communities get to be secretive, which always fun. Yeah, please do that. If you want to work with any of our sponsors who help bring us StatCheck, you can check out Red Dash Dragon, you can check out Wayland Yutani, you can check out J15 Games, you can check out Salter Games. If you're looking for 10th edition, 11th edition terrain, tokens, widgets, measuring gauges, or anything in between, you can probably find it at one of them wherever you are in the world. And if you're looking for more specific stuff, you can check out all their websites. There are discount codes for all those available on our Patreon, and Red Dragons is Patreon exclusive. Everyone else is in the description. If you want to work with any of our coaches, including Sam Pope, Chris Irvine, Nassim Fashane, Liam VSL, myself, Pumbaa, Tyler Wortel, and newly starting this week when I get around to updating the website, Nemo the Fish. you can check that out at stat-check.com/coaching or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com. We'll be happy to get you in touch with any of our coaches. We are super happy to have Wesley on board. He just won a GT with Guard in a world where Guard are the worst army in the game, according to some Redditors. So if
Did
you
we
want to
want
work
to
with
talk
them,
about that at all? Did we
talk about
want
what?
to?
No, not really.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to give Guard players the satisfaction of being that wrong.
Yeah.
It's like a car crash, right? You have to watch, but you don't want to.
It's man. Yeah. Let's keep going.
And finally, you can check out all the other podcasts on our network at youtube.com/statcheck. That's us, including all of our back episodes. You can find us live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time. You can also find Take All Commerce, Champions of 40K, and at the Matrix, XM1, and probably someone else that I forgot. Medicaid's Orders. There we go. They exist. They're real. They record on Mondays. I think there's even meant to be an episode of Enter the Matrix recorded recently. They finally managed their third one. I'm so proud of them. They've only been with us for almost a year. Nemo, you met Nemo, and he really is a fish. Dude is the fishiest fish I ever met. Dude is
I love that guy.
swimming about. He is crazy. Love that guy. So yeah, and thanks to him for the ITC points. We greatly appreciate it. And with that, we're going to go into the questions. As always, there are three ways to get your question asked and answered on the show. One is to be in the show question thread in Discord. One is to leave a super chat on the show, which we have three of. One is from Ben J40K, who says, "Floof, how do you like your eggs?"
I see you're saying this as if you're going to be the one cooking for me this weekend, and you know that's a goddamn lie. I'm the one that cooks. I like to personally, I either like them scrambled on a burger or not scrambled on a burger, over medium on a burger, or if I scramble them, then I watch this little Gordon Ramsay video to where he tells you how to scramble eggs, and you put a little butter in at the end, and you get a nice little creamy eggs. It's good, but
Nice. That is a stat check venerable question. The other one that we'll go with is how many 40mm bases do you think you can fit in your mouth?
an alarming amount, baby.
Yeah,
You gotta pay me money to see that.
No, give us a guess.
40 mils or what? It's like this is a
About
32.
40 millimeters.
I measure in freedom.
It's about 1.8 inches.
Yeah, but like I'll say 32.
1.6. You think you can fit 32 40 mils? How many 32 mils do you think you can fit? Full 40?
Yes, for the bit I'll say 40, you know.
Sure. Nargle Matthew, thank you for the $7.77 for Go Team. And Sam Pope says, my strat is red blue, list until 3D glasses. And thank you to Steve G1505 for becoming a YouTube member. It is greatly appreciated. All right, I'm going to do the questions. We're going to get through these at a reasonable pace. From Carl, people are playing so much cool shit right now. Is that simply because people haven't solved the new edition meta yet, or does 11th edition actually support wider list diversity?
I think it's just the Wild West of 40K right now, and you can just kind of get away with playing whatever.
Nobody knows what's good yet. Just style on the haters.
Yeah. Like, I'm bringing GSC to Tacoma, but I was so close to bringing 6 chickens, triple crab, triple the other tank, triple Dissy, and like the grandparents, and just being like, yeah, dog, I'm just going to kill you. Like, you can just do whatever. No one knows what's going on. Net listing doesn't exist right now.
Especially if all the lists are gone and hidden and fake. So
true.
Alex H asks, a good local player remarked, ignore the disposition and just table them. Do you think this is true? Yes. Is the disposition actually just a bit of disposition system actually just a bit of theater and you should just kill your opponent's stuff as quickly as possible? Or is there some juice in your dispositions that make building for your chosen disposition worthwhile?
I think it like presents an advantage in the game, but like
just kill them always works.
Yeah, like for Heroes Cup, I wasn't like I was the disruption bitch, and I didn't like how the game played, and I realized that for a lot of my matchups, I just gotta like be winning the game and kill my opponent. So I just made Blue Purge was my disposition in my head, right? Now there's obviously like armies that can play their disposition very well. And, you know, that can kind of rely a little bit more on that. But you always have the fallback plan of dead models don't score points. So,
exception granted. Consecration versus triangulation.
I hate Consecrate so much because of its existence of, now that I say that sentence, someone will be like, well, excuse me, Consecration. And I'm, gets me every time.
Yeah. I think broadly my philosophy has been that you spend 1,700 points making sure you don't get tabled by Tau and orcs, and then you spend 300 points on your disposition. And if you're playing
Yeah.
Purge the Soul, you don't even have to do that because your disposition is just more stuff making sure you don't get tabled by Tau and orcs.
Hmm.
Um, I find myself twisting and turning my infantry to get little nubs around solid corners of solid terrain to get the go to ground condition. I think by and large, from a design perspective, this feels bad and goes on a who the hell wants it more type situation. Yes, go to ground is a very bad mechanic and is stupid, and hidden should probably just be 12 inches if you're on a solid terrain piece.
Yep. Like I
Um,
would be fine if it's like if you're on a terrain piece 15, if you're wholly on 12.
yeah, I
Maybe if
honestly
you're
think that would be a better way of doing it, right? If you're wholly on a if you're wholly on a green terrain feature, you get 12. That would be a much better way of doing go to ground.
yep.
But yeah, no, it's stupid. It just invites the same arguments that Cover did last edition because it's the same mechanic as Cover last edition. And shockingly, it was bad last edition and it's still bad now. But it has way higher consequences because like binary can or can't be shot versus +1 save are very much more impactful.
Yeah. Like we were already seeing this before with, your Norn emissary. Its little whippy tail was turned just to where the tail goes around a wall and oh, now it's got cover, right? Stupid shit like that.
Leaving one of the spiny like foot the spiny like pterodid bits that come off your Norn behind cover so that the Norn gets +1 to gets -1 to hit. Yeah, powerful.
Yeah.
Um,
Gaming.
every game I've played over there's been 20 50 points in favor of the player who tabled the other. Is my experience universal, and if so, is that a problem? Yeah, I mean, mostly tabling people, like tabling your opponent should probably win you the game. I don't think that's a controversial
Hmm.
statement, but also it should be more challenging to table someone.
Yes. I I've definitely had games to where like my drop turn like whiffs horrendously and I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting tabled this game." And you can kind of run around a bit more in 11th edition to make the scores a lot closer because in 10th it felt like, well, I can't stand on the circles, so I have nowhere to run, so I just like lose and it's 100 to 20 or whatever the hell, right? You can make it a bit closer in 11th, but
Not
yeah,
that
no,
much
if you get
closer.
tabled, you should, yeah. If you get
If you get
tabled, you
tabled,
should
you
lose the
should
game.
lose, right? Like, don't get tabled. Uh, why is this 12-inch advance and charge melee too slow for this new edition? It's not really. It's just not the only thing your army can do necessarily. Like, you better have a
Mhm.
backup plan, or because sometimes you're going to play an army that's just gone bigger than you, or you're going to play against an army that has better screens than you don't have any big unit, you don't have any small units, right? It just can't be the only thing your army's doing. You need another thing on top of that. Um, but no, like Blood Angels are well, I've seen enough results out of Blunders be like, yeah, 12-inch advanced charge is still fine. Orcs get away with 5-inch advanced charge. It's not too slow. It just doesn't do enough damage. Like it's other problems besides the movement value.
Mhm. It's not all about getting there. You have to like do something when you get there, right?
11th edition feels a lot. Alice asks, I'm sorry, that was from Alex. Al asks, 11th edition feels a lot less replayable than 10th did. The only variation in specific matchup is the table. If your Recon Dark Angels are favored into priority T-Suns, then they will always be because the mission doesn't change. Will it become necessary to change your listed position if you know there's a particular army in your meta that you need to get through? I think yes. But also like you could like that's just kind of true of anything. Like if you rocked up to a tournament that was playing, like all X tables or all searches, you needed to be deploying more. Like there was stuff that went alongside that, right? But also mostly it's just you're gonna play 5 missions and they're gonna be the same into the same armies versus before where we played 7, but mostly they were kind of the same with like a couple of wild exceptions that most people didn't like
Mhm.
playing, like Purge the Phone Supply Drop, right? The differences between Search and Destroy and Take and Hold were not or between Take and Hold and Lynchpin were not high enough for me to like be like writing home about it particularly, right?
Yeah, I think like this can just be compared to like in 10th, right? If I'm going up against Death Guard, the game is different if we're playing on Purge or if we're playing on Hidden Supplies, right? And the same thing can be now to where if I'm on Disruption and they're on one with Take and Hold, or then they're on Priority. The mission changed, but like, yeah, it can get redundant if that's the only thing you keep playing, but like the meta is going to change. People are going to
But yeah,
have to switch dispositions, right?
I do not like the new system. I think I significantly prefer the old one, but c'est la vie. We have what we have. Um, I hate my biggest BP with it is being a coach at a team event and walking around being like, my players are all playing 8 different missions and I have no way to tell what the fuck's going on. But
Yeah, that's fair.
Mechlin slash Boston recommendations for someone with sensitive palates and picky ears. Otakos. There's usually like, it's not too bad. I'm very picky and I manage fine enough. There's a
Yeah.
lot of like hearty European meals and steak places and stuff like that. There's also like a McDonald's. There's usually like sausage rolls and stuff like that at the venue, and yeah, it's nothing too complicated. Frederick, and that was from John. Sorry. Good luck to Team Japan. Frederick asks, Orcs were placed quite low on tier list at the end of 10th edition and had a reputation as not a very good army, but have come out of 11th with quite a high win rate at the moment. What do you think that is? Just new dispositions letting how they wanted, or is the point decreases? Point decreases, hidden,
Mm-hmm.
being able to
Mm-hmm.
staple another set of rules onto Green Tide are all very,
Mm-hmm.
very impactful. Those are three very big, very big changes. But hidden is
Yeah,
crazy impactful for Orcs.
yeah. Hidden's insane. I mean, I had a game against Adrian on Tabletop Titans, and I got fucking creamed on that
Hidden,
because it's like everything has like 5-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain, like Pain Boys becoming support and just being able to attach to more shit than just boys is insane, right? Like it's very, very good. So yeah, Orc's good.
yeah, and also new cover is significantly more impactful for them than old cover was. Like +1 save on Orc
Yes.
Boys meant fuck all, but -1 to hit is, or -1 plus skill is genuinely pretty impactful. It's not
Yeah.
always, but it's definitely more impactful than +1 save was going to be.
Because like if you think about it, cover did nothing for orcs in the wall. Now it does, right? It's this stacking debuff to where they're basically a mini lone op. They are -1 to hit. They're gonna have an invuln. They're gonna have a feel no pain. Like it's just so much damage reduction that they get.
I'm gonna put a quick thing. Get your questions in now. I'm gonna leave it open for another couple of minutes, and then I'll be closing it. All right. DJ says, I've been seeing a lot of people doing primary shooting builds with AdMech, stating that the army-wide heavy and +1 plus skill is the main focus for them, but what other options could exist, and should you play them as PA or Recon? And also a question for Floof, thoughts on the current state of AdMech?
So actually, like I've been seeing the counter of that to where I've been seeing a lot of Conqueror builds, just Ruststalkers being able to like kind of guarantee those short charges with the +1 to +2. It's very interesting. I think what you should be aiming for AdMech are there's some very good take and hold builds between either Radzone or what's the other one? Cybernetica cohort if you want to go more vehicle heavy. And then you bring like Lords of the Forge. It's the shooting can get awkward, but I think AdMech's still kind of in the state it was in 10th to where if you're trying to be an either protector or conqueror, you're gonna fall. You're gonna fail. You need to figure out which one you want to be in. Bring Thulia so she can, help give you double imperatives where you need. And then yeah, you're either going Sakaran heavy with a bunch of, infiltrators and Ruststalkers, or you're going gun heavy with auto chickens, las chickens, dissies. I've been seeing a lot of Cybernetica cohort lists run robots. So I think AdMech is in a good state. And I think once the like top 5 armies kind of bring their power level down a little bit, AdMech's going to be like a very, very strong army.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I did skip one question from Alex. Will there be a video on Innis's Edinburgh list to raise hopes of DA fans? I'm planning to. It would feel silly to not do a video based on my first one. It might not be super in depth on like exactly why I think the list is good, but I might tell about how the games were. Just because WTC PsyOps season. We shall see. I will make a decision based on that, based on how the event goes as well. If I win, probably yes. If I do a 1 and 4, probably not. I do have a pretty terrible win rate this edition so far, so we shall see. But I've not played an event yet. Have you seen much excitement around Hammer Verde Librarius? I've seen a few results from it. It's been doing fine. It's like one of the Librarius builds that's okay. Double Oath is pretty solid, but it doesn't have any like particularly amazing synergy with Librarius besides Double Oath, where like Forge Father Seekers and Indestructible have a lot more going for them. Mostly like the best characters, like the best parts of Hammer of Vernier are its enhancements and its special characters, and you can't combine those with librarians. Steel Font and Far can't be attached with a librarian, so you just don't get as much out of it. Recon or Take and Hold with Recruit Hunting Pack. Pairing an advanced acquisition with the Chicken Men for Recon as an option makes Pathfinders and Skyros you're running better. I think Take and Hold is probably tougher for that kind of army. Recon feels very achievable for the amount of unit count you have, and is also very capable of doing a pressure game plan. Like if you want to try to like pin people in, but also not be like beholden to having to go out quite as aggressively. Where Take and Hold is like you are probably going to struggle to do that if you go second a lot of the time.
Right. I'm of the opinion, like, because I've always seen it to where it's like the however many gorillas build, like that. Seeing that one leads me to believe like kind of a take and hold thing, or no, honestly, Recon, because it's just all over the place with the monkeys. And then like if you want to go take and hold, that feels like you're doing the like 120 carnivores like meme stuff. I don't know. I could see takes for both, but I feel like take and hold armies really want to be an army that like can get hit by the sun and still live.
Still score
And
points. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
just don't think that's crude.
yeah, I don't think it's crude.
I'd like to see it as prio. Actually, would feel like it would be
Yeah,
the place I would
that'd be
want to be.
great.
But I don't know if you can do that with a 2D a 1DP. So, any advice what a coachee needs to do to get the most out of 4K coaching? Take pictures of your goddamn games and
Yes.
then think about them a bit before you talk to your coach.
The thing is that like I can spend an hour talking to someone about the theory of the game, but there's so much more to be had when like a client gives me like here is the pictures of like the top of each turn
Yep.
and just like here's what was going on. And already when they have those pictures, half the time going into the coaching session, they're kind of like here's what I probably fucked up on. Like here's where I think what would happen,
Yeah.
like
Here's what
what
I
went
did
wrong.
wrong. How do I make sure that how did I fix this? What did like I know what I did wrong, but I don't know what I was meant to do instead is a lot of the
Yeah.
conversations you get to have in those situations.
Exactly.
And
And
I
that's
like
so
that.
much more productive, right?
Yep.
Because already, like, then that shows you what a tool, like, even if I wasn't here as the coach, you could still kind of like learn from your games by just taking pictures. So, yes, take pictures of your games.
Take some pictures, do a bit of pre-processing, show up to the coaching call with some ideas, and then
Hmm.
go from there.
There's a little setting in
Um,
the Tabletops Battle app to where it'll,
remind me to take
yeah,
pictures.
yes, to where you can get a little reminder at the start of every battle round and do that. Genuinely, it'll help.
Yeah. Someone described it really well on of all things a competitive 40K Reddit thread, which was going like doing 40K coaching is a lot like having a golf coach that tells you about how to swing your club but never watches you do it. And
Mm,
that is actually fairly accurate if you don't like bring the games you're actually playing. You're just talking about theory. And theory is great, but theory only gets you so far. You need to actually analyze the things that you are doing on the table, the things that you could
yep.
be doing better. And the way you do that is you bring data, you bring information, you bring pictures, you bring videos, you record your games if you're playing a stream, you take pictures of your top downs and you talk about it and you talk about your thought process, and then you can actually review that in context, right? I often just like grab the pictures, throw up, Microsoft Paint and sketch all over them and be like, I think you should do
Yep.
this, I think you should do this, I think you should do this, blah 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 blah.
I do.
And
I very much do the same thing. Yeah.
drawing is yeah. Wonder where you got that from.
Only from the best.
Fair.
Anyways.
What CSM flavor would you be playing in singles on right now? Is Mergers plus Vets good or just good at clubbing seals? White Recon Raiders real? I mean, Recon Raiders seems fine. I think Soulforge Warpack seems very, very competent. I know that like Theo Hyatt's list was playing that with like the super tall, triple defiler, triple venom crawler, and I think that's pretty reasonable. I'm a big fan of. I think I honest to Christ, still think that Pact Zealots is still pretty good. It still shoots
Yeah.
really hard. My teammate's playing it this weekend. Did you know Crit Fives is good? Um,
Can I make a suggestion as a non
shoot,
CSM player?
you can make as many suggestions as you want.
This is the wild west of 40K. We're still figuring out what the fuck is good. Play something that seems good and looks fun, dog. Like it's you don't have to be the peak optimal shit.
Fives, Crit Fives.
Yeah, dog. Sometimes we go to Vegas and we pull the lever and we're rolling crit fives and we're having fun. If you want to do Cult Legion, go do Cult Legion shit. Just do whatever. Okay. Have fun right now. Like this time in 40K is so rare. The shit's gonna start to get solved in a
I'm
couple
playing
months.
Deathwing Knights, guys. Come on.
Yes. Like just go fuck around, find out what fun is.
All right. Is taken hold when you just table them the best death guard plan right now? Two crabs and Morty is 1050 points. They didn't fix Death Shroud 6-inch ingressing. I think that's still probably the best thing you could be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that certainly
I
got
really
told to
like
me
the
that
ADC list that was like Morty, Plague, the Feel No Pain Prince, 3 Blight Haulers, 9 Death Shroud, 2 Lords of Contagion. And that list was cool. It played well. I enjoyed testing it.
yeah. I think the thing is once again, take and hold is you want to be an army to where you can sit on the home point or the central point with most of your army, and at the end of your opponent's turn, still be standing there.
And
And
then go
Death
hit
Guard
them.
does
Go hit
that.
them where their house is. That's the
Yeah,
other half, right? Go hit them in their
yeah, sure.
objective. Go put some pressure in them. And if you do
Hmm.
that, you will win a lot of games. Um, Isaac asks, should I list swap to Green Tide with zero practice or stay with Necrons at Tacoma? You should, if you have access to Green Tide and functioning brain cell, you should consider playing it. But
Hmm.
also, Necrons are not bad, my friend. Just
I
plan to plan a game plan that can handle Green Tide.
I listen, Isaac. I love you to death. You're one of my favorites. I think your game that you played in the Green Tide is messing with your head too much. You Necron's good. You don't always have to list swap, and I think you're just more rehearsed on Necrons. Like I was in the same spot. I was like, I've got a buddy I can borrow Green Tide. Just
You
just
don't
stick
have to
with the
do
list
that.
you
It's
got.
okay.
You don't got to be that guy.
Am
It's
I bad
okay.
for running Tau on Rico with the Pathfinder self DP and Red Cadre? No, that seems fine.
No,
Like it might
no.
be slightly better as Purge, but I don't think it's bad as Recon. It scores pretty well. And then Ashley
I'm
T asks, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm firmly in the camp that I think Mont Tau is very overrated. I think it's good, but I think we're still holding on to this is the best thing you can be doing in 40k from 10th. And like there's still like I think there's a lot of builds to Tau. And if you're going Prio Tau or Recon Tau or anything like that, that's still gonna be good, I think. Just have the right build, right? Make sure you have a ghost killer in or something in there, and you're probably gonna be doing fine. It'll be great.
Not unreasonable. Recon also gives you the like ability to do like to actually use the action and shoot strat and stuff like that, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ashley T asks, any hair care tips from Innes? I use Head and Shoulders shampoo, and I wash my hair twice a day because I get greasy, and that's all I got. And then also Orfloof too, I guess, was the second half of that.
I have a kind of strict routine. Well, I have a strict routine, but I do not adhere to it. My routine is I shampoo once a week. I condition every other day. Well, I condition every time I shower, and then I only wash my hair every other day, and then comb it out when you wash it. And that's about it. I don't do too much. The people who do all these 12-step things, their hair just kind of looks the same as mine when I do just normal stuff. We just have good days and we have bad days. That's it.
I don't know, man.
There's your funny answer.
I shampoo my hair twice a day, and that's it. That's all I do, and
That
it's been
hurts
fine
me.
so far. It's not fallen out yet, so
Fair. All right.
all
That's
right,
everything,
people.
yeah?
That's no, we do have the last bit.
Oh.
I gotta go and do the fucking Church of the High Five call outs
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
So if you are a member of our $15 tier, I have to shout your name out at the end of the show. If you've been part of the show for a while and you've not heard this before, yeah, Nathan normally does this bit. It makes me sad every time I have to do it. Thank you
Do you
to
want do you want me to do it?
No, I don't want you to do it. I want you to
Okay.
suffer through hearing me be miserable while I do it. Christopher, will we get a kids table episode to bantlight the adults table episode? Irvine, thank you. Yes, very clearly we did. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke Harden's taking the subway McCarthy. Thank you to David Clark. Thank you to Just Iyer. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John V8 Gang. How many terrain nubs can you fit in your mouth? Too many. Thank you to Cam F. Dan Morton Hog Emoji. Thank you to Archon Biblically Accurate Eldar Player Rahal. Thank you to Josiah Gattel. Thank you to Frankie. Thank you to Isaac. Tonight on Stat Check, Innes lost to me in Pokemon, flew prepared to lose to me at Tacoma, and no one else bothered to show up. Thank you to surely the next data slate will be the one that saves us, right? Thank you to Stephen. I appreciate Jeremy and Nathan for all the rules, Ross. Thank you to Tom officially entering my Necromunda Daddy era H. Thank you
Let's
to Thanks
go.
Folks. Thank you to youtube.com/NexusFloof.
This just in.
Thank you to Come With Me on a Gucci Adventure, trademark. Thank you to Henry. Gen 2 penguins can swim at 22 miles per hour. So can I. You ain't shit. I have no idea how fast I can swim. I've not been swimming in years. That seems really fast, actually. I doubt I can go that fast. Thank you to Penny the Penguin. We'll be very sad if Stat Check ends. Please do not make Penny the Penguin sad. This is your penguin fact. Thank you to Matthew, Pain Engine Aficionado. Thank you to Vivian. Is the Golden Throne really the Montauk chair? Thank you to Nathan. If you are reading this, answer the dubia. How many bases in mouth? Thank you to Alex Biblically Accurate Let's Go Emoji H. And thank you to Luke Rip Sam Neill. The way he destroyed that 11-year-old solo in Montana for disrespecting Velociraptor sticks with me to this day, Gallo. Thank you to Tab to the Tab Gods, and thank you to Sheets for his sheet throne. I hope everybody's had a wonderful time. If you enjoyed the show, please do remember to do all the social things. But otherwise, have a great week. Good luck at your tournaments. If you're at Edinburgh, come say hi. I have a roll of StatCheck stickers that I'm looking to give away because branding is cool. They're also 40mm size, so you can stick them on tokens to use them for like objectives and stuff.
Well, that's sick.
I know I thought about that. I think they're slightly too big, but whatever. You can fold them around the edges. Otherwise, thank you so much, Floof, for being with us. Floof, do you want to share
Yeah.
anything out besides the thing I have ticking around across the bottom?
No, not really. That's kind of the only thing I got going on. If you see me at Tacoma, also come say hi. I don't know. I'm very bad at tying names to faces, so yeah.
They
come
will
say
not
hi as
introduce
well.
themselves to you just ever, by the way. People will just come up and say, I love your content, and then
That's the
vanish
thing
into
I
the
hate.
ether.
The amount of times I've been like on an escalator and someone going up the other way is like, "Hi, Floof, big fan, by the way," and then just gone. I'm like, "Who are you?"
Like, no, dude, we met at Tacoma 3 years ago. I'm like, no, we didn't. You met me.
No.
But
God, fucking just give me a name, anything, make one up. Ugh.
all right, people.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us. Enjoy your weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.